So here we are once again. Another so-called royal peace talk that's anything but peaceful. Another batch of headlines trying to convince that Harry and Meghan are simply misunderstood victims. And yet another quiet shift in narrative from the mainstream media, a shift that stinks of calculated PR spin. But this time, it's more obvious than ever before. Prince Harry isn't patiently waiting for reconciliation behind the scenes. No, he's doubling down, still demanding apologies. Not just for himself, but for Meghan as well. And who's in his crosshairs? King Charles and Prince William. Yes, he's still insisting they apologize for what he claims was racism aimed at his wife. Let's just take a moment here. This is the same man who's written memoirs, released bombshell Netflix documentaries, and poured his heart out to Oprah on global television. And after all that, he still thinks he deserves an apology? Seriously? The entire royal family was dragged through the dirt, and somehow Harry believes he's the one who's owed something. Yet, despite everything, the media has been working overtime lately to rebrand him. They want us to see a changed man. Someone mature. Someone nostalgic. Someone looking to reconnect with his royal past. But let's not be fooled. What's really happening is the media playing its classic game. Gaslighting the audience, rewriting the narrative, and subtly painting Prince William as the unreasonable one, just for standing his ground. Let's get one thing straight. Prince William has held his line. He's not ready to let his brother stroll back into the royal circle like nothing ever happened. And who could blame him? Harry hasn't exactly shown he can be trusted. Every private moment seems to magically appear in a tell-all book, or a docu-series, or a primetime interview. The trust? It's long gone, and with good reason. Still, that hasn't stopped the press from pushing this strange, tone-deaf fantasy of reconciliation. Commentators like Charlotte Griffiths have been flooding UK media with this narrative shift. She's popping up everywhere. GB News, Talk TVs, you name it, all trying to steer public opinion. Her take? That Meghan can't return to the UK because she's afraid of being booed. That's the story they're going with. Not that she's unwelcome, not that she scorched every royal bridge on her way out. No, it's all about the boos. Seriously? And while we're on the subject, let's talk about the timing of this PR blitz. Meghan just launched her own wine label. Their Netflix buzz? Gone. The book sales? Old news. They're in desperate need of relevance. And what's the fastest way to get back into the spotlight? Float the idea of a royal comeback. Articles with headlines like, Harry and Meghan have no plans to move back to Britain, are crafted specifically to stir the opposite reaction. It's a textbook media move. Be vague enough so the public fills in the blanks, just the way you want them to. Meanwhile, the Daily Mail and the Telegraph are busy nudging the idea that Harry might be on his way back into the royal fold. Let's not ignore the irony here. This is the same Daily Mail that Harry is currently suing. So if they're suddenly painting him in a kinder light, you've got to ask, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? It's PR. It's crisis management. And most of all, it reeks of desperation. The British public isn't fooled. They remember the interviews, the allegations, the smugness. The idea that Prince William is somehow the bad guy for not welcoming them back with open arms? That's a joke. He's doing exactly what any sensible person in his role would, protecting his family and the institution from two people who, frankly, haven't earned back an ounce of trust. Still, the media machine keeps rolling, feeding the public carefully crafted sound bites, curated leaks, and sugar-coated op-eds, hoping we'll just forget everything. But the cracks are showing, and people aren't buying it. Charlotte Griffiths isn't the only one pushing this manufactured redemption arc. A whole crew of royal insiders, PR experts, and well-timed leaks are all working in sync, trying to polish Harry's image and test the waters for a possible return, but there's something unsettling about how calculated it all feels. This isn't just a cleanup job. It's a deliberate attempt to rewrite the past. And the timing? Couldn't be more strategic. Meghan's wine launch, conveniently landing on Queen Camilla's birthday, wasn't a coincidence. Every move seems crafted to spark attention. Subtle? Not even close. This was a publicity stunt masquerading as branding. And Meghan? She knows the game. Attach your latest product to the royal legacy, just enough to grab headlines, but not so obviously that you come off as thirsty. It's the oldest play in the celebrity PR playbook. But this time, the public isn't buying it. They can smell the spin from a mile away. And the media? They're not just reshaping the story, they're deeply embedded in the entire operation. Journalists who once stayed neutral, or even called Harry and Meghan out, have suddenly changed their tune. Take the Daily Telegraph's royal editor, Victoria Ward. She recently wrote a piece laced with strategic speculation, suggesting Harry might be turning over a new leaf, looking for reconciliation. This, from the same man who only months ago accused his family of conspiring against him? And now we're meant to believe he's the peacemaker? Give me a break. And then comes the strange tale of the so-called Peace Summit, a meeting between Harry's team and King Charles's communication staff. A meeting supposedly behind closed doors, yet somehow, just days later, it's all over the headlines. Photos leaked, details everywhere. And here's the thing, no lawsuits, no public outrage about a breach of privacy. Why? Because it wasn't a breach at all. It was staged. A carefully planned photo op disguised as an accidental leak. PR experts like Lauren Lanfero, who've spent years dissecting media tactics, didn't miss a beat. She spotted the setup instantly. From the phrasing in the articles, to the composition of the photos, to the tone of the coverage. It was classic PR theater, perfectly framed, perfectly timed. Lauren didn't hold back. In her expert opinion, this leak wasn't some friend of the Sussexes getting careless. It was deliberate, crafted, orchestrated from inside the machine. And it's all part of a much larger operation, rebuilding Harry and Meghan's image by reshaping public perception. But it's not just about fooling the public. The real target? The firm itself. King Charles, Queen Camilla, the royal courtiers. They're being slowly fed a new, softened storyline. People want to see healing. Harry's grown up. Meghan's focused on her brand now. It's a slow drip strategy designed to chip away at palace resistance. But there's one person it isn't working on. Prince William. William's not new to this game. He knows exactly how it's played. And more importantly, he remembers. He hasn't forgotten the betrayals, the memoirs, the explosive interviews, the Netflix docuseries that aired dirty laundry to the world. And he's not falling for this sudden image makeover. Not for a second. He's put his foot down. Harry and Meghan? They're not coming back. Not as senior royals. Not as influencers in royal wrapping. Not even in a part-time capacity. They had their moment. And they used it to launch an all-out attack on the monarchy. Now they want back in. That chapter's closed. Still, the media keeps pushing it, testing the public's patience with fantasies of balcony appearances, trooping the color reunions, and sugary tales of royal reconciliation. But here's what they won't say out loud. This has nothing to do with peace. It's all about profit. There's a reason Prince William is keeping his distance. While Harry hops from podcast interviews to explosive royal exposés, William's been quietly doing what's expected of a future king. He shows up, stays composed, and refuses to turn the monarchy into a media circus. That contrast between duty and drama is exactly what the media is trying to blur now, and they're subtly shifting the blame for the fractured relationship onto William. Even the more respected publications are playing along. Take Valentine Lowe, the same royal reporter who once exposed Meghan's alleged bullying of palace staff, now publishing fantasy pieces predicting Harry and Meghan's grand return to the Buckingham Palace balcony by 2027. It wasn't just speculation, it was practically fan fiction. Painting scenes of Meghan beaming at the crowd, Harry standing solemnly beside her. As if we're all supposed to root for this royal soap opera comeback. It was PR masquerading as journalism, trying to normalize their return by planting the idea in our heads, making it feel not only possible, but inevitable. The spin runs deeper than most realize. Writers like Tessa Dunlop have even pulled Princess Diana into the mix, arguing that William's unwillingness to reconcile would have broken his mother's heart. That's not just unfair. It's emotional manipulation at its worst. Yes, Diana was compassionate. Yes, she broke barriers. But to suggest she would have supported this public unraveling of royal family ties, the monetized trauma, the tell-alls, the brand deals disguised as healing, is a massive leap. Diana fought to protect her sons from the very media exploitation that Harry and Meghan now seem to profit from. She didn't fight so they could turn grief into global content. And this relentless media pressure, it's not just exhausting, it's dangerous. Because here's the truth. William can't respond. By design, by duty, he doesn't get to fight back in interviews or drop a tell-all book. His silence is part of the job, but now that very silence is being twisted, painted as cold, unyielding, and the reason there's no reconciliation. Meanwhile, the real instigators are being recast as wounded victims, just longing for peace and closure. And slowly, subtly, the public is being pushed to forget what actually happened. Forget the Oprah sit-down. Forget the Netflix docuseries. Forget the book deals, the lawsuits, the accusations, all of it. Conveniently brushed aside. And back in California, let's not forget, Harry and Meghan are living in a $16 million mansion, still claiming financial hardship. They've been cycling through PR and communications teams like wardrobe changes, pitching new business ventures left and right, still trying to squeeze value out of their royal ties. Meghan's new wine label? That wasn't just entrepreneurship, it was a message. She's still in the fame game, still playing the royal card when it benefits her. But let's be honest, even America is getting tired of it. The tide has turned. Supporters who once cheered them on are now laughing instead. Shows like South Park, Saturday Night Live, Family Guy, all famously progressive, have roasted them again and again. And when your biggest cultural allies start mocking you, you've lost the room. Public sympathy is drying up, and even in Hollywood, where they thought they'd reign, the novelty is wearing off. That's why this media push feels so frantic. The PR machine knows the clock is ticking. Relevance is slipping. Meghan's Netflix projects fizzled. The Spotify deal fell apart. And Harry's memoir? It's already collected dust on the shelves. They need a reset, a total image overhaul, just to stay in the game. And that's what this sudden peace summit talk is really about. It's not reconciliation. It's a rebrand. The flattering headlines, the well-timed photo ops, the shift in tone, it's all part of a last-ditch effort to claw back into a world they stormed out of, dragging the monarchy through the mud on their way out. But if they're betting on William to fold, they're going to be disappointed. Because the royal family might move at a glacial pace, but it never forgets. And when the lights fade, when the headlines shift to the next big scandal, it won't be the drama that endures. It'll be the quiet strength of those who stayed behind, who chose duty over drama, that history will remember.